Christmas has come early at the house of the English Watch. The day's finally arrived, where a sponsor sent me a product to review. No, it's not a bag of white powder, it's a watch. Now this particular package has been sent to me by AliExpress, China's version of Amazon, who reached out to me with the offer of picking a watch to review. On my wrist I'm wearing my Omega Speedmaster Professional, and this may give you a clue as to what's in the box. But I guess you've already seen the thumbnail, so let's get into the unboxing. I'm Andy and welcome to the English Watch. This channel is about me and my watch collecting journey, an amateur enthusiast with an eye for detail, always looking behind the watch for the story, helping similar like-minded individuals like you start your watch collecting journey. Before we get started, hit the like button if you like this video and don't forget to subscribe. Only a small percentage of viewers of these videos are subscribers. Now subscribing not only means you won't miss any episodes, but your small contribution really helps. As always, please engage in the discussion after the video in the comment section below, where you'll find links to my Instagram, some helpful hints and tips on looking after your watch, as well as some affiliate links to the tools I use in the making of these videos. Now they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and when it comes to homage watches, it appears that anything goes. At all levels and price points, there are releases that at first glance look like direct copies, but are in fact trends where success breeds success, be it in the dial colour or the bracelet design. So when I was browsing the offerings from AliExpress, you could understand why I may have been a little reluctant. I mean, who wants to be mugged for wearing a Pagani designed Pepsi or a San Martin Kermit? Now these are not homages, they're pure copies. Arguably better than an out and out fake, as they don't carry the original logo, but copies nonetheless. And normally this fakery isn't what I'm about, but even I had to start somewhere, and as a penniless 17-year-old looking for that first watch, my seconded date-just lookalike fitted the bill. So I'm not here to judge. It's just a different world now, and I think in a world where everyone wanted to look the same and have the same things, I can see the temptation. But then I came across this interesting looking chronograph and thought, yes, this is worth a closer look. Like Indiana Jones picking out the one true grail. The carpenter's cup amongst those shiny goblets. This watch immediately sparked my interest amongst this sea of copycats. Something honest. Now as we get into it, you'll also see why the Speedmaster starts to make sense and how this absolutely has horological provenance. You tried saying that. Now let's switch views and get stuck in. Right, let's get into this unboxing. So let's get out our trusty bit of Swiss Army knife. Now, as I said, I'm not hoping this is going to end in an explosion of white powder. So we're going to carefully go in. Right, here we go. No need for the knife. And, oh, look at this. Little plastic box with answers on a postcard. I have no idea what that says. So we've got here some little catches. Now this isn't your cardboard affair that I've seen from some of the budget brands like Seagull, and looking inside immediately I'm quite impressed. So there's a nice little spongy bit of protection there. Got various layers of protection, so let's just put that to one side, and we've got here, this is the box now, so it's a nice little box. Small toolkit with, this is the instruction manual and warranty card. Obviously not been filled out. Interesting. And here it is. More bubble wrap. So the bubble wrap there. Come on. Let's go. So a black leather strap with quick release spring bars. And here, let's go for the knife again, I think. Is the watch. Here we have the Seagull 1963 Pilot Chronograph. This watch comes in 2 sizes with a variety of strap options. I did request the 38mm with the olive NATO, but sadly AliExpress have sent me this 40mm. So if you order one yourself, make sure you are clear on the size. At 40mm in diameter, this version has a lug-to-lug of 50.2mm, but the curved profile does help a little. I'd say 50mm is top end for my 6 3/4 inch wrist. The watch sits 16mm tall on the wrist thanks to the NATO bunched underneath, but wear it on a strap and this reduces to a manageable 13mm. This takes a 20mm strap, so there are plenty of options. The case is all high polished and in 316L steel according to the website. It has a slender mid case with the lugs dropping off nicely to aid fit and a dome bezel and sapphire crystal. The case back is screwed down with 10 sides framing that display of the movement. Seagull, or the Tianjin Seagull Watch Group, is a Chinese manufacturer and the largest producer of mechanical movements in the world. Founded in 1955, Seagull movements have actually had Swiss origins for over 50 years. It acquired Swiss movement manufacturer Venus in the 1960s along with its machinery and designs, where Seagull movements are still manufactured on Venus equipment. Although unclear, this movement was part of a government-mandated development of a chronograph for the People's Liberation Army Air Force and based on the Venus caliber 175. Now this is not a new watch and versions of this one with the tried and tested caliber ST19 have been around for years. Looking in at the dial, there's definitely a vintage military vibe with that faded khaki that almost looks stained due to the time and rigours of war, and that suits the olive NATO strap perfectly. I love the applied red star at the 12 o'clock, reminding us this is proudly Chinese, and the gold coloured applied indices pointing to the centre with the Arabic numerals making the dial upscale and legible. The printed 21 Zhuan, referring to the 21 jewels used in the movement, and Chinese text at 6 o'clock are subtly applied and work well with the overall design. The constant seconds register at 9 o'clock and minute counter at 3 o'clock are well proportioned and legible. All the hands are blue in colour with the chronograph seconds hand coloured red, giving the dial real visual interest. The Seagull ST1901 is a very popular hand-wound chronograph movement using a column wheel instead of a cam, and this is unusual for something at this end of the market. And an integrated hand-wound chronograph is something of a wonder at any price, where chronograph modules are usually added to the base caliber for cost, but this makes the watch thicker, offsetting the pushers to the crown. Much like the original Moonwatch movement, the legendary 321 from Amiga, itself an integrated hand-wound chronograph. An iteration of the base Lemania movement, you can see the shape of the bridges on this Seagull ST1901. There's more than just a passing resemblance, and that's what makes this a little cool in my eye. The finishing is surprisingly well executed given the price and looks great through the exhibition caseback. However, on closer inspection under a loupe, you can see this is not a well finished movement. There's no denying though, this movement looks great at arm's length. The ST1901 has 23 joules, beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and with a useful 40 hours of power reserve. This caliber has a solid reputation for both reliability and serviceability, although I imagine the cost of servicing this watch would be prohibitive relative to the original cost. And I've seen movements available online for what this whole watch costs new. So one to wear, enjoy and ultimately not worry too much about. I can't see myself wearing it often enough to wear it out, but do fear for the grade of lubricants used. And I think this could be a good excuse to start my horological journey into disassembly and repair. Now that we're able, I'll have to look into classes again. So there you go, the Seagull 1963 Pilot Chronograph. Now, I've been wearing this one for couple of days and it's pretty comfortable, as most watches on NATO's are. It doesn't have too much of a little strap on it, so I imagine this has been sized for someone with slightly slenderer wrists than mine, although mine aren't big wrists. And timing wise, it's been keeping about -3 seconds a day, so that's within COSC. I'm sure it will vary over time. They tend to. I mean, the Speedmaster doesn't do that well, so who knows, maybe these are made tank tough. Now it was a shame that AliExpress didn't send me the 38mm, although as a pilot's watch Maybe 38mm is too small. But anyway, I kind of like it. I like the military vintage aesthetic. Doesn't look like anything else I've got in my collection. And at just over £100 from AliExpress. What's not to like? So for the price of a G-Shock, you get a manual wind chronograph with an open case back and, as I said, at arm's length. Quite an attractive movement. Now you can buy this from Amazon and from other retailers, and it's £200, £300, depending on where you go. And AliExpress did send me this free of charge for me to review, and it didn't cost me a penny. I was expecting to have to pay some import duties or tax or something, but I think they use some importer for the UK anyway, and it didn't cost me anything. So maybe the price that is shown on their website, on this one it says 112 to 135 quid. If that's delivered, all fees paid, I think that's a bargain. So it's worth checking, but check first that that there's no more fees to pay, because I have had that before from other providers. Now in the description I'll leave a link to the site, and there's a code in there, the English watch, that you can put in at the checkout, and it gets you £10 off £100. You don't have to buy this watch. You could buy one of the other amazing, let's call them homage watches that they have there. You know, if you fancy sporting a Rolex or an Omega. I think there's a Blancpain in there as well. They're all lookalikes, obviously. They don't say the original brand. They're not fake. They're, as I said, they're copies. And if that floats your boat, go for it. I think this one is the best of the bunch because it's honest. It's not trying to be anything. It does what it says on the tin, and it does it really well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. This is kind of sponsored content, kind of not, because this is my honest opinion, and I hope that's come over. I hope I've given it an honest review. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and as I said, leave the comments below. Let's get a bit of a conversation started on this one. I know there's been a number of reviews of this watch over the last few weeks and months, and it's been around for a long time. So if you scratch the surface and look online, you'll find reviews of this one going back a decade or so. Anyway, I'm Andy. This has been The English Watch. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.